been doing with the poems. And if you don't agree with our class analysis of it and you want to go in a different direction for your essay, you can totally do that. That's okay. But for people who are kind of like, I have no freaking idea what's going on, let's start with the basis. Okay? All right, so we're going to read the prompt again, and then we're going to break it down. Okay? So, in the following interchange, excerpted from an 1852 novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne, occurs when two characters who have been living on Blythedale Farm, a community designed to promote an ideal of equality achieved through communal rural living, are about to part ways. Read the passage carefully. In a well-written essay, analyze how Hawthorne portrays the narrator's attitude towards Zenobia through the use of literary techniques. Okay, so where is it telling us exactly what we need to do in this essay? Oh my God. Who's in my way?
Where it says, analyze how Hawthorne portrays the narrator's attitude towards Zenobia with the use of literary techniques.
And it gives us a little bit of background information as well, right? Okay, so let's come up with an overarching question. How do we turn that part that we highlighted into a question? Actually, this is kind of an easy one to convert, so. And the green paper is yours to write on, so you can write on that, you can write on a separate piece of paper, whatever you would like. And it might feel a little redundant, especially because our overarching question is very similar to part of the prompt. But I think this is important to remember. We want to answer this question throughout our essay, right? Answer it with the thesis, answer it with the topic sentences, answer it with our analysis. So I still think that this question is important to write. What a name, Zenobia. That's pretty cool.
This was actually in my SAT subject test for literature. Like if there was an
Excerpt from this text?
Yeah.
Like a different one?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's like, I don't know.
It's interesting because this prompt purposefully does not include the title of the novel, actually, because the title of the novel kind of gives it away.
Like I know it's that because of Zenobia.
Yeah. So don't tell us. Because we supposedly don't know, right? All right. So as we've been conferencing, I know I haven't talked to everybody yet, but what's one thing that I suggested that you do on the Q, well, on any of the FRQs? Write your thesis last. Why did I say that?
Oh.
What's the benefit of writing your thesis last?
You have a bunch of evidence
Yeah.
recorded already?
Your evidence could keep the thesis.
Yeah. You know that thesis you write is going to match up with your evidence and commentary because you already wrote it.
And you won't stray away from it.
And you won't, yeah, and it won't look like you're straying away from your topic. Illusion. Can someone pass out Saturday school, please?
I'll do
All right. So let's start with our evidence and analysis. So, are we just looking at Zenobia? Like, are we just looking at who's Zenobia? No. Why not?
How the narrator sees
that what you were going to say, Richard?
Yeah,
What'd you say?
the narrator's attitude.
Right? We're looking at the narrator's attitude towards Zenobia. So sometimes I've seen people latch on to one part and then not answer the other part, right? So make sure that we include all of it. So based on what we read, just like snap judgment, right? How do you think the narrator feels about Zenobia? What is... I'm saying his, we don't actually know if it's a guy or a girl. I'm going to assume it's gender. I apologize. What's his attitude towards her? Positive? Negative? Let's start there. Positive or negative or somewhere in between. And you can look at the text.
I think negative first.
Candy, you think negative? Why?
Because he was saying about how she's just really out there, but he was just like malevolently
Mm-hmm.
and then like irritated and what else was it? Oh yeah, he was just kind of clowning on her at the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does anybody see the possibility of a positive attitude? And I'm not, like, as long as you can find the evidence, go for it, right? Okay, so do we have a consensus that it's negative?
Yes.
Okay. No? Trust your gut. Alright, so then let's stick with that. So, with prose, what are some pretty easy things that we could do with prose for literary techniques? Diction. Diction might be a good place to start, right?
Yes.
Diction. What kind of diction do we see?
Oh,
Bless you. Haiti.
on line 56, he talks about it irritated me, like talking about how individuals saw Zenobia. Right, that's what it's called. Line 56.
Yeah, yeah.
It irritated me.
Okay. Irritated? What'd you say? It was about other people's attitude towards her?
Mm,
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay. Cool. What else? So we're looking for diction that tells us something about the narrator's attitude towards Zenobia. How does he describe her, maybe at the beginning?
Passionate, luxurious. I don't know.
Does that point to a negative
No.
attitude? Remember, you want to use evidence that backs up what you're trying to say.
Well, at first she said that he was dazzled by the beauty of the room and she was walking in. What does that mean?
Oh, at the beginning, her manner bewildered me. Do you guys know what bewildered means?
Yeah,
What does bewildered mean?
dissolved.
Like amazed, but like in a confusing way. Right? In that first part, he's just kind of talking about the room. He's
Yeah,
not necessarily talking about
he's
her
talking about
at
the
that
room.
point. Mm-hmm.
Wait, but he says this. Can you read it?
Okay, go.
I can't read, I'm illiterate.
I malevolently beheld the true character of the woman, passionate, luxurious, lacking simplicity, not deeply refined, and capable of pure and perfect taste. Oh, so that is negative.
Okay, so the malevolently part,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I was trying to say
Oh,
before,
okay,
but
okay.
I'm illiterate. So
No, you're not
I'm
illiterate.
sorry.
Oh gosh, spell that for me.
Male.
Okay.
And violently.
Like
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So he malevolently,
It's like a backhand compliment.
yeah, kind of like a backhanded compliment. Okay. Oh gosh.
Does it have to be only one word, or can it be like a small phrase?
It can be phrases too. Yes, that's a good question. So Monique asked with diction, does it have to be individual words or can it be phrases? It can be phrases. That's totally cool. So, yeah. Do we want maybe to find one more word? I think we should go for 2 paragraphs here. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
So let's find one more word and then we'll move on to our next paragraph. Yes.
There's like one line that says the narrator is like determined to make proof. There's like a slow exerciser of a part she seemed to be acting.
What line number are you at?
That's like 61.
61. Okay. Oh, okay. I determined to make proof if there were any spell that would exorcise her out of the part which she seemed to be acting. So, do we want to do that as something separate besides the diction?
I guess.
I think we can.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do we want to call that? Where's my eraser?
Right here.
Okay. Here's the thing. We don't even necessarily have to label this something, right? We just have to say that the author describes her as such, describes the speaker's, the speaker's attitude as such, and then what effect it's having. You're describing how it works, but you don't necessarily have to label what it is if you're not quite sure. Does that make sense? So that helps if you're like, oh gosh, I don't remember what this is called. Just describe how it's working. That's the analysis that we're looking for. So he wants to exercise her of a part which she seemed to be acting. So what does that imply about the speaker's attitude toward Zenobia? Yeah, Diana.
So the only difference between the Q1 and the pieces is Q1 uses present form.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, to me, when I read that, it
Mhm.
made me feel like the narrator was implying that she's not showing her true nature. She's like playing up a front.
The only, what is it, the only real thing about her is her body, right? Because it's organic.
The point that the narrator believes
The author was in science check.
that I'm gonna write Z is not showing
Thank you.
her true nature. Okay. Yes.
I was gonna say this for diction, but now that we have that, I think it will work. as
Perfect.
evidence. It says like on, I don't know what line it is.
It says over like here. Like 18-ish?
Yeah, around 18. It says, I acknowledge a bitter sense of shame to perceive in myself a positive effort to bear up against the effect which Zenobia sought to impose on me.
Mm-hmm.
So he feels a sort of shame that he has to go along with her acting, you know, just to, I don't know, like, he feels like shame of, never mind.
Going along with it, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he feels the need to expose her for what she really is. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a shift somewhere in this piece?
Yeah, towards the end.
Yeah. Where? Towards the end. Look towards the end.
When you finally get to the action word.
Yeah, when he finally gets a reaction out of her, what does he say that gets a reaction out of her?
Wait, was he talking about a man that she previously loved or something like that?
There's a complex relationship. So there's actually 3 characters in this text. There's 2 talking to each other, but who's the third character that's brought up that, it
Yeah.
brings up a reaction. So really this is about the relationship between these 2, but also among these and Hollingsworth, right?
Sounds like Twilight to me.
We don't know the, no.
No.
We don't know the exact relationship they have, but it's a passionate one of some kind,
Yeah.
because Zenobia reacts with, like, a total shift in her attitude, right? Like, her true nature comes out at the end there, right? So you could talk about, let's just add a third thing, why not? The shift. I'm gonna write what line is this? Line 81 is when her reaction happens, right?
You know, and it was like, I really like your daughter. That one scene. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy. Jacob gets together with her daughter. That's it's not legal. Do you want to watch a Twilight movie?
Watch that series without
Yeah? You guys want to have like a watch it on? My house.
Okay, so there's a shift at line 81 where the narrator mentions Hollingsworth and then Zenobia has a passionate reaction. What does that tell us about the speaker's attitude towards Zenobia? What's he been trying to do this whole time?
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. Like trying to break her and get her true feelings, right? So, and it's kind of related to this, right?
I kind of want to know if he's rejected by Zenobia.
Ah.
Or he's into her.
It's possible. And you could probably pull some evidence to back that up, that the narrator is into her. But if you're not 100% sure, you don't have to go that way, right? Okay.
That happens commonly.
Do we have enough evidence to write a thesis? Okay. So, we're going to kind of make this like a, oh gosh, what's the word? A pretty basic thesis, like, basic. But it's okay, because sometimes you gotta start with a basic thesis, right? And then we can move on from there. All right, so let's turn that question into an answer. Tell me what to write. Okay, Hawthorne uses diction. Actually, do I even need to put that? If I didn't really label these,
Yeah, no.
can I just say,
Literary devices.
yeah, let's say literary devices.
Okay.
Oh, literary techniques. Ooh, yeah. Sorry. Okay, to what?
Betrayal the narrators. Can you say condescending attitude?
I like the direction that's going. Something, right? Attitude. Words. What do we want to put there?
Resentment?
Hmm?
Never mind.
What'd you say?
Resentment? Resentful?
Resentful. I could say, like, under diction, I would say resentful makes sense. Maybe resentful and something else. 2 things. What would? Trying to roast her. I don't know. We can't say that in our thesis though.
What is that called? Like, what are we finding?
What about punishing? Punishing anything.
Wait,
Pun-
what?
Well, never mind. Never mind, Caleb.
Because we're trying to encompass this, right? That he's trying to expose her.
Wait, never mind. There's a camera.
Like, untrusting? No, I don't know if that's it either.
Is that even a word?
I think so.
I come up with words that don't sound like words a lot.
Okay, so what did we say? What was the first word we said?
Resentful.
Resentful. Suspicious, maybe? What about suspicious? Especially this part, right? Let's stick with that. Oh gosh, unless somebody can come up with something better, in which case we will write that.
I feel like there's a word that
I know,
Yeah.
but if you can't think of it, think of the next best thing, right? Because you don't have thesaurus.com at your fingertips, right?
I'm gonna memorize a bunch of thesaurus. How many times?
You're gonna memorize the thesaurus.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Ooh, dubious. You want that instead of suspicious?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. See?
she's a scholar.
This is why we work together.
She's resourceful.
Just use your phone during the AP exam.
Aren't you technically allowed to use a dictionary?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't think so.
That would take too much time and you
So, like,
I need this one word, yeah. Okay. Any questions about what we have up here so far?
I feel like this is a plot line. What is
Diana, Monique wants to know what dubious means.